Today here in the dungeon, we're checking out a couple of old ToneCore series pedals from line 6. I've wanted to do a video on these for a while. I actually own several pedals out of this series, and I'll probably do another video on the rest of them. But the distortion pedals, that I own, which are these two, I think these are also the only two distortion pedals that they made out of this series. But I did happen to own both of them, and I guess I wanted to see for myself in a recording setting if it's possible to actually get a good sound out of either one of them, for that matter. Honestly, my opinion is okay, not bad. Some good crunch tones in it. It's not the best distortion pedal in the world, but not the worst. This one, no. At least not by itself. Let's talk about the pros first. I like these pedals because I like the concept of them. These actually are just, the pedals themselves are really docks, if you will, and you can interchange the actual modules inside them for any pedal in the series. There's a couple of just spare modules, and you can pop these out. Just takes an Allen wrench right there in the top. Take out the Allen screws, pop that one out, and pop in the new module, tighten the Allen screws back up, and off you go. Now you got yourself a brand new pedal. So I actually own 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 of the actual pedals, and 5, 6, 7, was it 8? Another 3 modules on top of that. So I'm never going to use all of them all at the same time. There are some really cool pedals that came out of this series, probably the most popular one being the Echo Park delay, which was essentially just kind of a downsized version of the ever popular, it's been a wildly popular and now is really a kind of a legendary delay pedal called the DL4. And if you're not familiar with the DL4, it's a 4-switch. It's a 4-switch pedal that had all kinds of delay options on it, unlike any other delay pedal before it. So that's why it was popular. And Line 6 came out with a smaller version in the ToneCore series that did an awful lot of those types of delays, had an awful lot of those features in a regular stomp box size, such as this one. Anyway, long story short, I think I'm gonna, as I mentioned before, I think I'm gonna do another video separate on the rest of the pedals that I have in this line. But for this one, I just wanted to focus on the distortion pedals. So the distortion pedals themselves, again, ToneCore series pedals, you can pop them out, all that kind of stuff. These two, anyway, each have a couple of unique features. They both have a built-in noise gate that has 3 different settings, off, and then a couple different levels of noise gate on them. Probably not quite so necessary on this one. This one, you gotta have it on. This thing is insanely loud, and they both also have 3 different modes. Modeling. 3 different modeling modes on them, essentially, is what they are. This one's got blues, pop, and crunch, and this one has metal, pulverize, and Line 6's now infamous metal setting called Insane, which has appeared on a lot of their Spider amps. These came out at back in the early 2000s, I believe, and I was still in Line 6 hate mode back then. They had not come out with anything that I thought was even remotely usable at that time. I've since become a lot more open-minded with them because they finally started making some more pro-level gear. Their modeling technology has advanced far enough now, I think, that there are a lot of usable tones, and of course, their Helix processor is one of the top effects processors on the market right now. Among other things, the DT series amps I really liked. This pedal right here, I thought there was quite a few usable tones in it. Again, maybe not the greatest in the world, but these are really cheap on the used market. You can buy this pedal for like $30, probably, maybe even less. If you already have a dock and you just need a module, you can probably pick that up for $10 or $20. So, these are really cheap, and I think there's some usable stuff in it. I didn't run across any really unusable bad tones that just made me want to cringe. This one is a typical scooped out metal distortion pedal. Not typical, because it's got some other features on it, as I mentioned. Please note that the recordings that you just heard, I had the mid-range on this thing cranked all the way up. And this thing actually has 2 mid-range controls. It's got the mid control, which hopefully you can see. This is the mid control, which you can see is turned all the way up. And it also has a scoop control, which does just the opposite, scoops out the mids, which is turned all the way down. So that is as much mid-range as I can possibly squeeze out of this thing. Pretty cool if you're practicing in a, if you're a a metalhead just practicing in a bedroom. I have actually heard people using this live with an EQ pedal behind it, which does make a huge difference. By itself, it just doesn't have a lot of mid-range to cut through, and I'm sure if I tried to put this thing in a mix, it would get lost in a big hurry. This thing, I go back and forth with it, because there's sometimes I plug it in, I think, hey, it sounds pretty cool, and given what it is, kind of a throwback to that 80s metal thing when scooped out mids were the thing. And then there's other times that I plug it in that it just gets lost right away because of its lack of mid-range, and it's sounds kind of digitally processed, and it is what it is. Again, another inexpensive pedal that you can find on the used market all over the place for 20, 30, maybe $40, maybe. I do really like the concept of them. I don't know why it took me so long to catch on and get on board with these, but I do like the concept, especially being able to pop out the modules and replace it with literally anything. Doesn't even have to be another distortion. I can put a delay or a reverb or any of the other modules out of this line into any of these docks, and they make the docks themselves in mono. These are both mono, and they also have a stereo version with stereo ins and outs, and I do have a couple of those around here somewhere. But regardless, kind of fun, kind of cool little things to have laying around and goof around with from time to time, which is what this is about. And if you want a cheap metal distortion pedal, maybe consider this one. Compare this video. I'll make sure and add this video to the rest. I actually have a playlist on my channel specifically for metal distortion pedals, and I'll add this video to that list so that you can compare all the ones that I've demoed here thus far. So, one last thing to be noted about these pedals. These were actually designed by legendary pedal designer George Trips, who is also the genius behind Way Huge pedals and quite a few other pedal designs on the market. But Way Huge is, I think, has been his crowning achievement. And of course, the Way Huge pedals are fantastic. But these were designed in collaboration with Mr. George Trips. So, the design and the construction are certainly there. These things weigh a ton and built extremely well. So, they did get that part right. If you enjoyed this video, please consider hitting the subscribe button as well as the alert icon right next to it. That way you'll get alerts of when new videos are uploaded and you don't miss out. Links to all the gear used in this video will be listed down in the description. Please don't hesitate to leave me a comment down below as well. Let me know your thoughts if you have any experience with these pedals or any of them out of this line. I got a couple of viewers. I know Angelo Ricchetti is going to comment on this because he loves Line 6 stuff. Last but not least, go check out my Teespring shop and see what we got to offer there. And in doing so, by the way, should you choose to buy a t-shirt, the proceeds from that do go directly back into supporting this channel so that I can continue to do gear demos such as this one. And hopefully many, many others along the way. So thank you so much for watching. We'll see you in the next one. You know what? There are tons of young people out there that want to get involved in music and do not have the means to do so. If you are watching this video, most likely you're a musician, and many experienced musicians have tons of broken and unwanted gear lying around that they're not doing anything with. Please visit my friends at Share the Music on Facebook at the link below and learn how you and your unwanted gear can help change somebody's life.